I'm calling this video Start Your Day Right Mix in a Jar, not only because of the boost in nutrition you get when you skip the store-bought and sometimes preservative-laden pre-made stuff, but also for the sheer ease of whipping up tasty breakfasts when you keep these mixes on your shelf. I've got recipes for a smoothie mix, a perfect pancake mix that you can customize with different add-ins, and then use the same mix for waffles. I'll show you my sausage, egg, and cheese bites that I like to bake on the weekend and then keep in the fridge for the week. Those work great as leftovers that you can just pop in the microwave. I also have a super tasty recipe for instant oatmeal packets. These are so much better than what you can get at the grocery store, and they're still quick and portable. Lastly, I'll show you how to make homemade coffee creamer that's every bit as delicious as the ones from the store, but without all the additives and chemicals. Having these mixes on your shelf will definitely help you start your day right. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for joining me. Welcome to the Freeze Dried Foodie, where you'll find delicious recipes using freeze-dried ingredients. Now, it doesn't really matter what brand you have. So many of us have this type of food on our shelves. On this channel, I'll show you how I cook with mine. All right, my first recipe today is going to be for my fruit and yogurt smoothie mix. And y'all, this is just such a delicious mix to keep on your shelf. If you'll notice, most of my ingredients are from Thrivalist. If you don't have that brand, don't let it stop you from making these recipes. You can use any brand. You can even use your own home freeze-dried fruits and vegetables and yogurt in this. A lot of people have freeze dryers now. I think that's incredible. I bought this brand for 5 years before they closed, so I've got a bunch of it. If you are looking for a replacement for the Thrivalist freeze-dried yogurt bites, you can find powdered yogurt on Amazon now, and you can find other brands of freeze-dried yogurt as well. You can get it on Amazon, you can get it in Etsy shop. They have it available online, but I also buy freeze-dried yogurt at my local Walmart. It's just in the baby food aisle because it's really popular as a snack food for toddlers. You can also just make this mix without the yogurt bites and just leave them out. And then when you go to prepare the smoothie and put things in the blender, you can add fresh yogurt. That works great too. What I'm going to do is start with just a blender. And this amount of smoothie mix, you can make probably 5 smoothies with, something like that. The base of it is our instant milk powder, which is really good actually. And yeah, and these are the little yogurt bites. Aren't they cute? They are just freeze-dried yogurt bites. So like I said, this is the vanilla flavor. And I like to mound up the amount there because I really love the yogurt. But basically, all of the measurements here are 2/3 of a cup. This is all customizable. Like if you don't like bananas, don't put those in there. Or if you really love blueberries, put more of that in there. You just need a variety of fruits. You can just choose whichever ones you like. So here, the strawberries, I'm just going to put whatever was in the bottom of my can. I didn't even measure that. It's like about 2/3 of a cup. And then same thing happened with my peaches. I'm just using what's left in the bottom of the can, somewhere around 2/3 of a cup. All right, now the kale, which by the way, you could use spinach. I do think that a couple rounded tablespoonfuls is all you really need in here. I don't love the taste of kale in my smoothies, but that's up to you. You could add more if you want to. The peanut butter powder, I really like that in there. It's a good amount of protein. And I just got these honey crystals. These are new to me, and I'm going to use that as my sweetener. Now you can leave that out if you don't want to sweeten your smoothies, but I think it needs it. And the honey worked out great. So blend that up really nicely. You want everything powdered up. And just look at that. I mean, it doesn't look like much. It kind of looks like sand, right? It looks like a bunch of sand in there. But I'm telling you what, that's a good amount of fruit, a little bit of vegetable, and that is going to make you a fantastic purple smoothie, believe it or not. So you'll transfer this into some sort of a container. It fits really nicely in a quart-sized jar. And this smoothie mix is what you could store on your pantry shelf. I love having mixes like this ready and waiting for me because it just makes the process of breakfast or snack or whatever just so much quicker. Whenever you're ready to make these smoothies, all you need to do is get out 2/3 of a cup of cold water. I just got that straight out of the fridge. You'll need 3 or 4 pieces of ice. And then I think about a heaping 1/4 cup of mix is what is a good proportion in there. And since I'm using a blender cup, I like to put the water down first. That way, when I flip it over, I don't have mix that sticks to what becomes the top of the thing. See, it's all there down at the bottom now. And then you do need to blend this for probably 20 to 30 seconds, a good long time. You want to make sure that you don't have any ice chunks in there left over. And it ends up just being a really nice thickened smoothie. And just look at that color. I mean, that is a gorgeous purple smoothie. So that amount of mix and ice and water makes about an 8-ounce smoothie. So if you want a big smoothie, if you want a full 16-ounce smoothie, you can just double everything. Now, smoothies are just one thing I make with this mix. I also sprinkle a scoop of this mix in with my vanilla protein powder in order to make a protein shake. And it's just going to add even more goodness to a protein shake. It's very, very good. Just the idea of adding a little extra fruit and extra veg, extra nutrition. I mean, it's so good. And feel free to add like whatever fruits and veg you want into this. It will work out. It's so good. All right, next up is our pancake and waffle mix. I call it my perfect pancake mix because we just love it so much. It's so easy. And you make just the one mix and you can use the same mix to make pancakes or waffles. You'll need to start with a large bowl and add to that 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Now you can make these with the gluten-free flour from Thrivalist. You'll just have to adjust the amount of water you add when you prepare these. Okay, and in with the flour is going to go some of our instant milk and some maple sugar or just regular cane sugar if you don't have that. Some scrambled egg mix. That's going to give these really nice lift and make them fluffy. And then we're going to add some butter powder. And here are your leavening agents. We're adding baking powder and baking soda, as well as some kosher salt and some vanilla powder. You'll want to give these dry ingredients a good mix and just combine everything together. And then you can store this mix in some sort of an airtight container. This entire mix will fit into a quart-sized jar if that's what you would like to store it in. So there you go. That is the pancake mix itself. Whenever you're ready to make the pancakes, what you really need to do first is plug in your griddle because the mix comes together really fast. All you have to do is add water. So yeah, definitely plug in that griddle. It'll need to preheat. Now you can customize the amount of pancakes that you make, right? Which is the wonderful thing about having your own homemade pancake mix. So what I did here was that was 1 cup of the pancake mix. And then I added less than a cup of water, like 3/4 of a cup of water. And then that's about all there is to it. If I'm just making pancakes for one person, then I'll probably only use like 1/2 cup of mix with maybe maybe 1/3 of a cup of water, something like that. If you make an entire cup of mix, you'll probably get 5 or 6 medium-sized pancakes. And then of course you can just cook them up and top them with butter, syrup. They are so good. Every time I see this video, and this video is so old. It's so old. But anyway, every time I see this video, I think about my parents because my dad loved homemade pancakes and my mom made him homemade pancakes every weekend. And it was funny because he was always like, honey, can you make me fluffy pancakes? And she'd be like, of course, honey, I'll do that. And then inevitably she'd try a new recipe and then he'd be like, but I like the fluffy ones. Anyway, that just makes me smile to look at those pancakes. I've showed you the blueberry ones. Y'all, the flavor here is amazing. They are light and fluffy, perfectly sweet, not too sweet, just slightly sweet. They're great with different add-ins. They're great plain. I love it that it's customizable, like how thick you make them or how thin you make them. If you like more of a crepe type pancake, just add more water. If you like chocolate chips in there, add those. I mean, it's totally up to you. My kids like the chocolate chip ones. I've made these several times on my channel with different recipes. I've done a banana bread pancake. Those are fantastic. I've done a gingerbread pancake. They all use this as the base recipe. And if you want to make waffles, it's the same mix. You can add a little bit of extra sugar if you like it a little bit sweeter. For this video, I made these into strawberries and cream waffles. So I added some cream cheese powder, some blended strawberries, some strawberry extract, and some chocolate chips. You don't have to do any of that. You could make just plain waffles. They are delicious as well. Just make them according to your waffle maker instructions. They're fantastic. It makes for a very fast morning because all you're doing is adding water. Well, hi everyone. I wanted to say welcome to our new subscribers. I'm just so thankful you're here. To my subscribers who have been around with me for a while, I just wanted to say, y'all are the best. Thank you so much for your support through the years. Thank you for the likes and the subscribes and the shares. Anytime you hit the like button and anytime you comment, it helps the YouTube algorithm know that this is a video that's a good one and this is a creator that is putting out good stuff. So thank you so much for doing that. Let's get to the recipe. I hope y'all enjoy it and we'll talk soon. Okay. Next up, one of my favorite recipes, my sausage, egg, and cheese bites. I am more of a savory breakfast girl, so this recipe is right up my alley. These keep me full for a good long time and they reheat really well. I like to make them on the weekend, reheat them during the week. Now this recipe here is going to yield 12 of these sausage, egg, and cheese bites, and I'm just going to cook them in a regular muffin tin. I start with a quart-sized jar and add the scrambled egg mix to the bottom of the jar. If you're not using the Thrive Life brand, you'll just need to use the kind that's the whole egg, so it's got the yolk and the white in there. I typically pulse the freeze-dried sausage in the blender. And the reason I do that is because you want to increase the surface area and get the pieces a lot smaller. In order for it to refresh properly, it needs to be pulsed. Like it needs to be a lot smaller than it comes in those cans. So you can either put it in a baggie and then kind of beat it with a rolling pin, something like that, or just pulse it real quick in the blender a couple of times. That usually does the trick for me. The cheese that you put in here is totally up to you. I'm using pepper jack. You could use cheddar. And then you want some creamy things to make this more kind of like a custard. So the sour cream and the butter powder, it's going to really improve the texture of these bites. And then, okay, the vegetables you put in here, it's completely up to you. I wanted a little bit of zestiness, like a little bit of spice, so I added some green chili peppers. I love red bell peppers in anything that's like an egg bake dish, something like that. So I added those. I also love mushrooms. I like some green onions. It's totally up to you. Just make sure your jar is full, okay? I added some broccoli just because I felt like it, like I could. So I did, but you don't have to. Just add whatever vegetables you like, just so your jar is full. The proportions will work in this recipe. For the amount of water I call for, you need to have a really full jar. Now, I do suggest you use the seasonings that I am calling for in this recipe. Even those are kind of flexible. Do whatever you think in order to make these delicious. I suggest at least the salt, pepper, dry mustard, and a little bit of a pinch of either red pepper flakes or cayenne. Now, these take about half an hour from the jar to the table, but you hardly have to do any work at all. Remove that oxygen absorber, empty the contents of the jar into a medium-sized bowl, and then add 2 cups of water. Give it a really good stir to hydrate those ingredients. Remember, They're freeze-dried ingredients, so they're completely dry. And you have to add the water back in there when you cook them. And just let that sit and hang out for a while you preheat your oven. That time just sitting will help refresh all those ingredients and helps to soften them up. After about 10 minutes, you can fill your prepared muffin tin. And I got a dozen egg bites here. And then bake them at 350 Fahrenheit for about 17 to 20 minutes. I think mine baked for 19 minutes. Now they puff up just like fresh eggs would when you bake them, and then they'll sink down as they cool. A serving is probably 2 to 3 egg bites per person, depending on who you're feeding and how hungry they are. I ate 2.5. My daughter only ate 1. So what do I know? But don't they look wonderful? They were so good. Next up, we have my instant oatmeal mix. And y'all, this tastes so much like the Quaker instant oatmeal envelopes that you can buy at the grocery store, except that, there's no weird ingredients in here, right? And these are really customizable, meaning you can make a big batch of just the base oatmeal mix and then customize the fruit flavors you add to each individual packet. I'm going to show you my peach flavor here, like it's a peaches and cream kind of flavor, but you could do like an apple cinnamon, a blueberry, whatever you want. You could customize each individual packet if that's what you want to do. But I'm going to show you the big batch for the peaches and cream instant oatmeal packets. It's portable. It cooks up really quickly. It's just like the ones from the packets from the store, except you know exactly what you put into this one. Now for my recipe, it's super important that you use the quick cook oats or the instant oats. You cannot use regular old-fashioned oats. You can't use the steel cut oats. It just doesn't work in this recipe. It doesn't have enough time to cook. All right, so make sure you get the quick cook oats. And then I put half of them in the blender and I blend them up into a powder. And then I put the other half of them just straight from the container. And I think that really helps with the texture. If you ever buy those envelopes from the store, you'll notice that inside that envelope, like a good portion of their oats is kind of powdery. And I think that's just the signature texture of instant oatmeal. You want to make sure that you're using a good quality instant milk or powdered milk. Just make sure whatever brand you are using is tasty. I like the Anthony's brand heavy cream powder. I think it's got good flavor, but you do have to watch the expiration date on that. So just be aware. And then you'll need about 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar and about 3/4 of a teaspoon of kosher salt. Now I'm adding apple pie spice, but I think cinnamon is great too. Any kind of a little bit of spice like that will be wonderful just in the background. Since I'm using our peaches and they are kind of a big slice, I'm going to go ahead and do close to 1.5 cups of peaches and blend them really well. You want really small pieces of fruit in your instant oatmeal packet. That way you'll get a good distribution of fruit throughout the mix. So go ahead and give that a good stir. Try to break up any clumps that you see of brown sugar or butter powder or anything like that. That stuff will dissolve in hot water, but you want to just make sure you have a good distribution of ingredients throughout the mix so that it all has a kind of consistent flavor. So that is the mix, and you have options of how to store it. You can store it in little 1/2 pint jars for single servings, and a serving is 2/3 of a cup of mix. You could put it in baggies, or you could just leave it in a big container, and when you go to make it, just take out 2/3 of a cup at a time. I like using those little desiccant packets, the moisture absorbers. It helps the fruit not to go weird on you. But that is what you could store on your pantry shelf. It's also very portable. I take those with me sometimes. I'm a substitute teacher and I'll take those to school. I'll just stick it in my purse, take it with me, and I'll just get some hot water from the coffee maker at school, and I'll have instant oatmeal. Also, I can take that on the road with me. I've taken that on a road trip, stopped at a gas station, gotten hot water, and had instant breakfast. Or you could also just store that in a big container. Right, and when you're ready to make it, whether you've put it in a jar or in a baggie or left it in the container, you need 2/3 of a cup of mix into a small bowl. And then to that, you're going to add about, I'm going to say 3/4 of a cup of hot water. I started with 2/3 of a cup of hot water, and I actually needed to add a little bit more. So I'm going to say 3/4 of a cup of hot water. Give it a stir. Put that in the microwave for about 30 seconds. If you don't start with hot water, if you start with cool water, then you'll need to microwave it for probably a minute. Let it rest for just a minute or so and then give it a stir. You can see how thick that is. That's why I added a little bit more water to mine. But y'all, the flavor is wonderful. Our peaches are delicious. It would also be great with other kinds of fruit. You could add butter. My mama always put just a teaspoon or so of cream. Give it a taste. You might want to add a little bit more brown sugar. You could add nuts or raisins or anything you want as an add-in would be really yummy in here. I like it just like this. Just a little bit of cream, and that's all I need. I think this is so good. Using freeze-dried fruit in this kind of recipe, I think, is such a great idea. I've spoken to quite a few people who, it might sound funny, but they don't really know what to do with their freeze-dried fruit stores other than snack with it. I mean, snacking is a great way to eat freeze-dried fruit, right? It's so good as a snack. If you're wanting to do something with it other than just snacking, this is a great recipe for you. Freeze-dried fruit typically tastes amazing because they usually pick it when it's ripe versus picking it early and having it ripen while it's being shipped to the store. So typically freeze-dried fruit is going to taste really, really good. The flavor is almost intensified because of that. Anyway, if you want to get some more fruit into your diet, this is a great idea. One way that you could use that fruit. All right, so the final recipe I have for you to help you start your day out right is going to be for some homemade coffee creamers. Now, all three of the flavors I'm going to show you today are going to start with the same base recipe, which is a vanilla creamer. So I'm going to show you vanilla, sugar cookie, and then a peppermint mocha. And I think all of these would make excellent gifts. I did this recipe at Christmas time. I had gifts on the brain at the time. And so, yeah, these are just excellent gifts as well as excellent little mixes to keep in your house. And by the way, you'll be able to find this recipe as well as all the other recipes from today's video linked in the description box below. I don't have enough room to write all the recipes below, so I have to link to the original videos. All three of these homemade creamers use a vanilla creamer base in the recipe. So they all three start out just like this. Now I'm going to use a pint-sized jar. I'm only going to make half a recipe, but I will include the full recipe down below, as well as the half recipe. And all you really put in here is our Thrivalist instant milk, our butter powder, and then some sort of sweetener, like a sugar or sugar substitute, as well as some vanilla powder. And that is the base recipe, y'all. That's all there is to it. This is a vanilla creamer mix that you could put a cute little tag on with the instructions on the back and gift to someone this Christmas. All right, the second one we're going to do is a sugar cookie creamer, and it starts with the exact same base, and then you add to it some almond powder, which I got on Amazon, and it's kind of like instead of almond extract, you use the almond powder. and then just a pinch of salt, because salt goes into sugar cookies. And I promise you, it's wonderful. The flavor there is so, so good. And that's it. That's the second recipe for you. All right, the third one is a peppermint mocha creamer. And again, we're starting with the exact same base, the vanilla creamer base. And to that, you're going to add some crushed up or blended up peppermint candies. So those are shelf stable. I just put the little candies in my blender and blended them until they were completely crushed. And then to that, you add some cocoa powder. And that's it, y'all. It's very simple ingredients, but you will not believe how wonderful these flavors are. As it turns out, you don't need to put strange ingredients in coffee creamer to make them delicious. You really don't. Now, these aren't going to have any preservatives in them, of course, so once you add the water to them, you have to refrigerate them. But aren't those so cute? I mean, they are shelf stable, at least for a good while. So they make great gifts. This is what you might write on the little tag, the instructions for whenever they are going to make the creamer. You're just going to empty the contents of the jar into a blender and add to it 2/3 of a cup of hot tap water. That hot temperature will help the sugar to dissolve in the creamer. And then you're just going to blend this really well. I blended for about 30 seconds. And that's all there is to making it. So see how simple that is? Wouldn't that make a great gift? I mean, it's a just add water and blend. And see, when it pours out, it's nice and thickened. That is the coffee creamer. So that's what you could keep stored in your refrigerator. And when you're ready to use it, this should work with both hot beverages and iced beverages. Add as much as you like to your coffee. These are also great with hot chocolate. I'm going to say this recipe is a good starting point. It's a guide. So if you try it and you think, oh, I want more vanilla flavor, well, just add some more vanilla powder. Or if you want a more intense sweetness, add more sugar or sugar substitute. Or you could add more peppermint candies or more cocoa powder. It's totally up to you. But as the recipe is written, these are absolutely delicious. I think you're going to love them. And aren't they cute little gifts? These are very affordable gifts. And when they make the creamer, they can store the creamer right back in the jar you give to them. I just think they're so, so cute. This particular recipe can be found in my second cookbook, actually. So I've written a couple of cookbooks, and what I did was I took the recipes from my channel, from the videos on my channel, and I put them into cookbook form. If you're interested in purchasing the paperback version, those can be found on Amazon. I also have the Kindle versions up now. If you'd rather have a digital download, you can find those on my website, and I'll link to that in the description box. And I thought I'd end the video by putting up just several pictures of some other breakfast recipes that I have on my channel. I have different playlists, and the videos tab, you can just scroll through all my videos from the last 3.5 years, I guess now. Anybody who has access to YouTube can get all of my recipes for free. But when you purchase a cookbook, those proceeds really do help me to keep this channel going. So I always appreciate it. All right, so let me end this video with our scripture of the day. And today's verse comes from Ephesians 2, and I'll start with verse 8. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing, it's the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. All right, guys, I hope you have a blessed day, a wonderful week. Thanks again for watching. And until next time, y'all take care and keep thriving.